Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of Nisha, a story from Volga to Ganga by Rahul Sankritiyayan. The region where the story takes place is the banks of the upper Volga. The people are the Indo-Europeans and the time is 6000 BC. And this story actually takes us to about 360 generations of human life back. That is, now we are living. Our generation, if they are living in 6000 BC, how their life would have been. And at that time, the people of India, Iran, Europe, they all formed one group of people. And in fact, it was the starting stage of mankind. And it is one afternoon and it is winter time, and therefore you can't feel the sun's warmth even though the day had started 5 hours ago itself. And everywhere it is only snow, 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 and it is so very chill. You cannot find any life, any sound, no animals, no birds. And even among trees you can see only two types of trees. One is the birch and the other one is a pine. And everywhere, even on the trees, everywhere there is only snow. And one person is talking to us, and here he says that he cannot hear even the cricket or any birds, any sound of animals. So he climbs on a pine tree to see around, and everywhere there is only snow and there is nothing else there. And when he looks around at one place, he finds some smoke coming out, and he is surprised because everywhere there is no life, there is no sound. But if smoke is coming in one place, it means that someone is living there. So he goes nearby without making any noise, and as he goes closer he can smell the he can get the smell of the fat and meat cooking on a fire. And as he goes even more closer, he can hear the sound of small children. And he does not make any noise. He goes very quietly because he does not want anyone to know that he's approaching, and there may be even dogs which can find him out. And as he goes near, he finds about half a dozen of children playing there. And the place is a cave like type. It's a natural cave which is there in the hill. And among the children, the biggest one is about 8 years old and the youngest one is about 1 year old. And inside the cave he cannot see because it is totally dark, but there is an old woman, and she keeps her eyes on her children, all these children, and she takes care of them. And the smoke and the warmth of the fire is filling the cave, and it is keeping the cave warm. And this none of them are wearing any clothes on them. And this lady, as she keeps looking at them, it shows that it is her duty to take care of these children. And suddenly she hears one child crying, so she looks at that place. There she sees a boy and a girl. Both of them are about 2 years old, and both of them are of the same size. And the boy is crying up. And the girl next to the boy is actually sucking a small bone, and when she sees the grandmother looking at her side, she pushes the bone into her mouth. Now the grandmother looks at the boy who is crying and says, "Egan, come here. Egan, Granny is here." But the boy does not move. So the 8-year-old boy, who is the eldest among them, carries him and comes and leaves him near the grandmother. And the grandmother talks to him, and the 8-year-old boy tells to the grandmother, "Granny Rochana has taken away the bone and Egan is crying." So the information is given to the grandmother, and the grandmother now carries the small baby, and she tells him, "Egan, don't cry, I beat Rochana," and she beats the cave floor with her hands. But even then, Egan is crying and tears are rolling in his eyes. So what she does is she puts her skinny breast into his mouth, and then he stops crying and he just keeps looking at her. At that time they hear some sound of conversation from outside, and Egan peeps out, but still his mouth is on her breast only. And that time a voice comes calling Egan, and now hearing this voice the boy starts crying again. And two women enter, and they are carrying bundles of wood piled on their heads, and they drop it. And one woman runs up to Rochana and the other to Egan. Now the latter starts crying, and the lady who picks her up, she immediately feeds him with her breast. And now the boy stops crying, and he is very happy also seeing this lady. And now what happens is they all remove the bull skin which they are wearing. That is, these two ladies were wearing a bull skin which was covering their body. Now she removes it, and she is so very happy. And the other women also carries Rochana, and she sits next to this girl. And looking at their faces, we understand that both of them are sisters. That is, these two ladies who came from out carrying the wood. Now, leaving this cave, if we keep looking outside, we can find that at the far end, a group of people are climbing the mountain, and they are covered their body with the bull hides, that is the bull skin. And it is very difficult to find out that they are human beings because of the snow and the color of the skin. And they are also carrying weapons in their hand. And the leader of that hunters group is a woman who will be about 40-50 years old, but she is so very powerful. And following her, they are the others. And the face of this woman resembles the two young women who we saw in the cave. And here all of them are carrying weapons in both their hands. And behind this woman who is the leader, there are four men and two women. And one man looks elder to this leading women, while the other is about 26 years old, and then another boy is 14 years old. And all of them look alike. And what happens is that the two other females, we find that one is about 22 and the other is about 16. And all their faces look alike, so they all resemble the grandmother who is in the cave. So we can find that they all belong to one group. That is, they must be born to the same people. And in their hands they have weapons which are made out of wood, bone and stone. And they keep on searching for something. And the woman who is called as the mother, she goes and the others follow her. And we can understand from their movement itself, because they move in such a way that they have come for hunting for food. And as they come, they find a cave. And the mother stands outside the cave, and she looks out for the tracks so that she can find out who is inside the cave, but there are no tracks there. So she leaves others outside and she alone goes in. And the cave is very dark, so she stands for a few seconds to adjust her eyes to the darkness. And then in the cave she finds three big bears, a male, a female and a cub, and the three bears are fast asleep. And this is the hibernation period. That is, these bears will sleep for 6 months in the winter, and for 6 months they will be active. Now she finds this, and then she comes back quietly, and she is so very happy. Her face shows that she has found something, some food for them. And then afterwards she shows three fingers. She presses the little finger and the thumb finger and shows the three fingers, meaning there are three inside. Immediately the two men, they take their weapons and they follow her. They are very, very quiet, and once they come near the bears, the mother stands near the he bear, and the big man stands near the she bear, and the other man stands near the cub. And at the same time they plunge their sticks into the body near the heart of the animals. The animals do not even move. Actually, they are in their 6 months sleep. And they did not, the animals wouldn't have expected someone to come and kill them. Then again, for 3 or 4 times, they drive their stick into the body, and then they roll these bears and they drag them out of the cave, laughing, and they're very happy. Then the mother takes a flint knife which is in her dress of skin, and she starts cutting from the wound, and she removes the skin very carefully. And then very artfully she takes a piece of heart and puts in her mouth, and then remaining pieces she gives to the others who are there. They share it equally. From the way she cuts the fur and takes itself, we can understand that she is an expert in all this, and she has expertise. And then they start cutting the she bear's heart, and that also they eat. And then afterwards the cub heart is also cut, and she distributes everything to them, and they eat. They're very happy. And then afterwards the 16-year-old girl goes out, and she takes a piece of snow and stuffs it in the mouth. And the big man also comes, and he also takes some snow and puts in his mouth. and then he catches hold of the girl's hand. Initially, the girl resists slightly, but then she becomes quiet, and the man puts his arm around her, and they go to one side. And when the two return to the bears, now each one is holding a big handful of snow. And the man says, "I'll cut, mother, you are tired." So the mother hands over the knife to him. And then she caresses the face of the 24-year-old and she takes him by the hand and they go outside. Now they have eaten up the hearts of all the three bears, and the fat is very less in the body because these bears are sleeping for the past 4 months. So there's very less fat in the body, and the cub's flesh is very tender and very appetizing. Now after having enough food, they all lie down and take rest, and but they have to return home because they know that if they do not return in time, it will be night time and only the moonlight will be there to lead them to their cave. So the men, each of them carry one bear, and another person carries the cub, that is a girl, and the mother leads them and she walks ahead. And they are walking very fast and they are almost a few distance away from the cave. At that time, what happens is the mother halts and she concentrates and she listens. Seeing her, everyone stands still and they are all listening carefully. And now the 16-year-old girl goes to the close to the man, that is a 26-year-old man, and says, "Gur gur bruk bruk," that means wolf. And hearing this, the mother repeats, "Gur gur bruk bruk," meaning yes, it is a wood. And she says, "Are you all ready?" Now they lay everything what they had in the center and they go around it and they keep their weapons ready. And as they are waiting, a pack of 7 or 8 wolves come near them, and they are very sure that they are going to attack them. So they are looking around. At that time, the boy who is in the middle, he takes a string which he has tied around his waist, and he starts attacking the wolves. And in his attack, what happens is the other man also join him and they attack, and one wolf is struck. Even though the wolf tries to recover, it is shot again, and now this wolf dies. And seeing the wolf dead, the other wolves go and they drink that hot blood from that wolf and then they tear it into pieces. Now these people know that these wolves are having a feast here, so they know that once they have finished the wolf, it will pounce on them. So they lift the 2 bears which they had and they start walking very fast. Now this time the mother walks at the back, always turning and seeing whether the wolves are coming, and they're walking fast towards the cave. And when they're almost near the cave, the wolf, that is all the remaining wolves, they follow them and they come. But this time they're not able to win over the wolves. One of the wolves, they jump on the girl who is 16 years old and it tears her thigh and then her belly, and they pull her very fast. And while everyone is trying to attack the wolf and chase it and rescue the girl, 3 wolves jump on the man who's 24 years. They jump on him at the back, and he never expected that, and he did not have time to defend himself also, and they tear his body. And by the time the girl is also being dragged about 30 to 40 feet away. Now the mother looked around and she finds that the young man is gasping for his last breath, and close to him is the bleeding wolf. So one of them thrust his spear into the dying wolf's open jaws, and the second holds its front jaws, and the rest of them press their mouth through the wound which they have made, and they drink that hot blood. And the mother also cuts the jugular vein so that it will be easy for them to drink the blood. And all this happens in a few seconds, and they know very well that as soon as the wolves have eaten the girl, they'll come and they'll attack again. So they leave the dying man there itself, and they carry the 3 bears and the dead wolf, and they start running and they reach the cave safely. Now in the cave, the fire is burning, and the children all who are very hungry are lying, and even the 2 girls are lying asleep. But the old woman, she hears the footsteps and she asks in a trembling voice, "Nisha, you have come?" And the mother says yes. And then she enters into the cave and she keeps her weapons down and she removes her dress and comes naked. And all the others also do the same. And now they allow their body to get the warmth of the fire. By this time, all the sleepers have woken. This is a habit which they all have, because even a slight sound, they'll immediately get up. And this is the only way that they can be alive. This is the training which has been given by the mother to the family. And usually they will be hunting deers, hares, wild cattle, sheep, goats, and horses. But all that will happen only before the winter, because during winter all these creatures will migrate to the south. And the mother also should have moved along with the group to the south. But the 16-year-old girl was not feeling well. But the code by which they lived was, it was the duty of the mother of the family to take care of everyone's life and not to jeopardize the lives of all for the sake of one. But this time the mother's heart had weakened, and now because of that they have lost two members instead of one. And there was still more 2 more months for winter to go, and they don't know how many more lives will be lost. And also 3 bears and 1 wolf is not enough for them to go through this winter. Now the children who had gone to the bed with empty stomachs were now so very happy. The mother cuts the wolf's heart and gives it to them. And while they're eating it, she removes the skin of the animals, because that fur of the animals is very very useful to them. And then the meat is cut and it is also distributed. And who are very hungry, they eat the raw meat, and the others wait. And then they start roasting the meat and they all eat. And the children keep asking for more and more food, but the mother tells them, today you can eat your stomach full, but from tomorrow we will not have so much to eat. And later on she goes to the corner of the cave, and there is a swollen bladder, and inside there it is honey wine. And she says, okay, today you drink, dance, and enjoy yourself. And she gives the little ones a mouthful, while the elders get more. And then they are all very happy, and they sit and laugh, and they are spending that night very happily. And here we can find that the mother has no rule of injustice or inequality. And we can see from by looking at them, that the big man and the mother are the grandmother's children. And while the big man and the mother, they are together, we can say that since they are all in the same family, it is nothing like this is mine or this is yours. Because at that time all, there was nothing like property and all that. And always a mother has the authority over the family. And we cannot say that she does not regret the death of the youth, because the youth, 24 youth who died, was her husband and also her son. And in those days all, people were not those who thought about the past and regretted what happened, because they always live for the present. And the mother now has only two husbands left with her. That is and the third is a boy of 14, and he also will be soon ready to be a husband. And in those days all, they will not know who is the father, they'll know only who is the mother. And the mother, she was always fond of the 26-year-old young man. Now there's only the 50-year-old man left for the three women. And when the winter is almost going to get over, the old grandmother went on to her permanent sleep, that she died. And before the winter could get over, wolves carried off three of the children. And when the snows were melting, the big man fell into the stream and he was washed away. And now the family has only 9 survivors. Earlier they were 16. And now it is springtime, and now nature has bloomed everywhere. Everywhere there is greenery, and now the rivers have fish in them, and all the birds have come back. Waterfowls are there, and all the sheep, goats, stags, cows, everyone comes back. And to hunt all these and eat them, the panthers and the wolf are also there. And other families, other groups which have left that place before the winter have come back. And now we find that all the animals, all the plants, everything have regained their vigor. And these people are also very happy, and they have dogs which can hunt for them and bring a sheep or a goat, or they themselves can use their weapons and hunt. And there's a lot of fish in the rivers, and there were also other fruits and other things which were growing near the Volga. And whenever you go to fish in the Volga river, you always come with lots of fish. and the nights are still cold, but the days are warm. And the family, now whose mother was Nisha, they are now among the other groups who are in the banks of the Volga. And in those days, all we cannot say who was the father of an individual. Now, Nisha had 8 girls and 6 boys born to her, and of that, now she is 55 years old. She has only 4 daughters and 3 sons. All others have been lost, and she does not know who is the father because there is no evidence to prove who is the father of these. But we can say that Misha is the mother, and Nisha's mother, the old grandmother, also who was in the chief position before her. She also had many husbands, and those husbands, some of them were her brothers, some were her sons, and some were even Nisha's children, whom she chose as her object of her love. And none of them will deny when she chooses a love partner. And since at those days there was no settling of paternity, we do not know how many are living, but now she has 7 children who are alive. And in Nisha's family, she herself is the oldest and the biggest and the most powerful also. So she will be taking care of the family for a more 1 or 2 years before she becomes the old grandmother. And after her, Lekha, that is one of her daughters. Lekha is the strongest among her daughters. Maybe she will take the place of the mother. And for this, of course, Lekha will have to fight with her sisters. But it is the duty of the mother to protect the family from becoming extinct. That is, they have to save the family from the jaws of the wolves or panthers and the claws of the bears, the horns of the bulls, and also from the Volga's flood. And of Lekha's sisters, 1 or 2 or also happened, will definitely they'll go off as a separate family. They will separate from this family and they'll form their own families. And this family system will be there till only when one man came to be the center of a group of women. And as now one woman was the center of a group of men. And Nisha saw that Lekha was very successful in all the hunt, and she was also very quick in climbing the hills. And one day they saw a beehive which was very high. That is, even the bear, which they called as a honey eater, will not go up to that beehive. But Lekha somehow climbed like one lizard on top, and she scotched the big stinging bees away from the hive and made a hole, and she caught in a skin bag nearly about 60 pounds of honey, and she brought it down. This act of Lekha was highly commended by the neighboring families as well as her own family. But Nisha somehow did not like it because she saw that more eager the young men of the family were to dance at Lekha's signal, the less they welcomed her own advances. And though at present they had not the courage to flaunt her openly because Lekha was a very strong woman. And for a long time, Nisha was thinking what to do about it. Sometimes she even thought about catching hold of Lekha's throat and killing her in her sleep. But she knows very well that Lekha is stronger than her, and therefore she cannot kill Lekha alone. And if she goes and seeks another person's help, she was worried whether who will come to help her, because all the men wanted Lekha's love and affection. Whereas Nisha's daughters will definitely not come to help her because they will be scared, because if they attempt to kill Lekha fails, then they will have to have a miserable death at the hands of Lekha. And so she knows that none of the girls also will come to help her. Now she sits and keeps thinking what to do, and suddenly she gets an idea. And the next day, it must be about 3 hours after the day has started, now all the families are in their tent. Now Nisha is sitting in front of her tent, and she sees Lekha's 3-year-old boy playing near her. Now in Nisha's hand she has nice bright red strawberries in a leaf cup. And she sits there and she throws one strawberry down. The boy comes fast and picks it up and eats it. Then like that she keeps on throwing the strawberries and brings the child closer to the river. And when he is almost near the river, he slips and falls into the river. And after seeing him falling into the Volga river, Nisha screams. All this Lekha keeps looking from a distance, and as soon as she sees her son vanish into the river, she jumps into the river. The boy is almost half submerged and is also drinking a lot of water, and the chill water is piercing his body, but she succeeds in holding him. And now what happens is she only has to take some efforts to swim through the current. At that time she sees, that is, she is holding her son in one hand, and with the other hand and the feet she is swimming. But now she finds a pair of strong hands which is trying to close around her throat. And Lekha knows who it is. It is Nisha, because for the past few days she has been noticing Nisha's attitude towards her. And she understands that Nisha wants to remove her, like removing a thorn from the path. And still Nisha has all her strength over her. And since Lekha is holding a child in one hand, she is not able to fight against Nisha. And Nisha presses Lekha down into the water. And in this struggle, the child slips out of Lekha's hand and she goes off. But Nisha has made Lekha helpless. But somehow Lekha brings her fingers close to Nisha's throat and she holds her throat very dry. Now Nisha becomes powerless because now Lekha is hanging on her throat. Her hands are clutched around her neck and she tries to fight against it, but she is not able to come out of her grip, and both of them are locked together and they are washed away by the Volga stream. And now Roshana, who is the strongest surviving woman in that family, becomes the head of the family. And here ends the story of Nisha. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you're not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.